Brother and lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Partey to Saudi Arabia. Arsenal signing Kai Havertz after the international break. We'll be talking about Romeo Lavia because according to Fabrizio Romano, talks are ongoing between the representatives of the player and Arsenal to see him at the Emirates Stadium as well. And Martin Ødegaard says he wants to be at Arsenal for a very, very long time. When asked about his interest from PSG. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. We're going to be having a midfield revamp at Arsenal. So I thought I would do a Q&A in the comment section so that in my next video, I'll talk about what should happen in our midfield revamp. So, according to the Express, Arsenal will lose Thomas Partey, Albert Sambi-Lokonga, and we'll also lose Granit Xhaka in midfield. It literally means that we are clearing out all the midfielders that we have, and we're gonna see an exodus. And then we will see, we will see new names, new faces, and new players in midfield. So I want to know, what players do you think Arsenal should sign to take us to the next level? If Xhaka, Partey, and Lokonga are not the mixture that takes us to the next level, probably winning the Premier League, probably competing for the major trophies, the major honors, which midfield three do you think Arsenal should be having next campaign? Let me know. Hit the like button. Let's get this one to 300 and let's meet in the comment box below. Right, let's get into it. First and foremost, Thomas Partey is being targeted by Saudi Arabia. Of course, talks are ongoing between him and Arsenal to make sure that they can find a consensus for him to leave Arsenal. I've already shared my opinions on this one. It's never going to change. It's not going to change. It's the same thing. It's the same situation. Mikel Arteta wants him out. So Saudi Arabia have aligned themselves as a potential destination to Thomas Partey. It wouldn't be such a bad shout, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to play a team next campaign in the UEFA Champions League, in the Premier League, with Thomas Partey. So if he goes to Saudi Arabia, he's 29 at the moment. I think Arsenal can get some very, very good money because Fabrizio has been saying today again that Arsenal will sell Thomas Partey, but it will take a very, very good fee. It will take a very, very good bid, to price him away from the club. Saudi Arabia at the moment are offering very good money for everyone and to everyone. If Thomas Partey is clearly okay with the idea of going out there, making the money, it will be such a very good deal to whoever who signs him. But his career, for me, still has a lot of years to go. Look, I think he's one of those players that can have that longevity in his career. He's such a calm player, such a composed player. He does pick up injuries, but then I don't see him as a player that puts himself into harm's way a lot of the time. I would really want him to stay at Arsenal, but look, if Saudi Arabia can give us around 50 million, maybe 60 million in the sale of Thomas Partey, and he can also agree to go out there, make his money, then definitely it's a deal I would do, right? I would sell him to Saudi Arabia, to any Saudi Arabian club, rather than seeing him in a club in Italy, in the UEFA Champions League, or even in the Premier League. So Partey to Saudi Arabia, that is a very, very viable option right about now. Now, according to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal do have the green light to sign Kai Havertz from Chelsea. We did get the green light from Kai Havertz a couple of days ago. Now we have the green light to sign Kai Havertz from Chelsea, and this could happen as soon as the international break is over. Now, I think the deal for Kai Havertz is actually progressing very, very quickly. Today in the morning, we had a major update from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports Germany, claiming that the deal is actually almost done. Now, Arsenal did go in with a 55 million bid. That was the game changer. Chelsea then looked at us as serious contenders for the player. The moment we went in with around 55, Chelsea felt that they don't want to stand in the way of Kai Havertz, definitely. And they wanted a club that is serious. They wanted a club that is going to offer them money they feel is good money for Kai Havertz. So when Arsenal went in with 55 million, that was actually not very far away from their asking price, because they're saying anyone with 75 million can take Kai Havertz. So Arsenal went in with around 15 million less of the asking price. And Chelsea said, wow, wait a minute. this could be one of the potential destinations of Kai Havertz. Now, we understand that Chelsea also are under pressure to sell if they're going to buy players. They do have issues with FFP. They've spent a lot of money without selling players. They have a very huge squad, and the likes of Kai Havertz, the likes of Mason Mount, the likes of Cucurella, are all going to be replaced this season. So before or after the international break, we could get that major news on Kai Havertz that it's a done deal. All the big journalists confirming that Arsenal are working tirelessly on this one, and it's very, very close to completion, right? So the debate about Kai Havertz is over. He's going to be a part of Arsenal's midfield revamp, and according to what I'm hearing, that revamp will have Romeo Lavia, Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Martin Ødegaard. Those are going to be the 4 key midfielders, at Arsenal next season. Definitely, it means Romeo Lavia will be sitting on the bench. We'll be looking at how those 4 will be lining up together. But I still feel Lavia for the bench, Declan Rice at CDM, Kai Havertz at attacking midfield, and of course, your deep-lying clash player, your deep-lying playmaker in Martin Ødegaard, who I think is actually a very, very interesting player when he plays deeper rather than, high up the pitch. But anyway, with Kai Havertz, I think it's one of those deals that were always going to be very easy as long as you have the money and as long as you have the blessing of the player. Chelsea never, at one point in time, thought of standing in his way. He's not one of the players that Mauricio Pochettino is fond of in terms of style and, and making. I don't look at him as a player that, Mauricio Pochettino can massively improve as a manager. On the other hand, I think if he comes in at Chelsea, he looks around. Mason Mount could be a great shout, in my opinion, for Mauricio Pochettino. Probably the likes of Reece James, the likes of Ben Chilwell. Those are very, very great shouts in terms of Mauricio Pochettino's squad and starting 11. But Kai Havertz, as a centre forward, I don't see him play for Mauricio Pochettino, to be honest. And even if he doesn't play as a centre forward, I just don't see him as the profile of a player that Mauricio Pochettino would love, right? Mikel Arteta, of course, sees him as a quality player. He thinks he's a very, very good player, likes the profile of the guy. So it was always going to be an easy one as long as the clubs were ready to agree on a price. Chelsea don't have a problem with selling to rivals. They're selling to Man United, they're selling to Manchester City, and now they're selling to Arsenal. So it will get done. It's one that I feel could even get done earlier than the one of Declan Rice. Because with Declan Rice, I'm hearing that, West Ham want to wait a little bit just to see if there are going to be any other offers. In my opinion, if it's not Manchester City, there are not going to be any other offers. But West Ham are happy to wait. Until maybe July to see if Manchester United will come knocking, to see if any other clubs will come knocking. Because they want to pressurize Arsenal into that, hefty fee. Maybe 110, maybe 120. I don't think Arsenal will pay that. I think our total spending is going to be above 200 million, but I don't see us going above 100 million for Declan Rice. So that is happening. Kai Havertz is on the verge of joining Arsenal. Everything is great in terms of the player. Personal terms already are great, according to Fabrizio Romano. And also, we have the blessing of the camp of the player. So anything that happens between now and the international break is still in favor of Arsenal. Bayern, according to what I've seen from Christian Falk, Bayern do have interest in Kai Havertz. However, the problem in that deal is that the interest is not concrete, but then the player also doesn't see himself going back to Germany. He doesn't want to go back to Germany. He doesn't look at that as a fancy move. And although many players would love to play for Bayern, the German establishment and everything, you look at Bayern in the last 2-3 years and how they've been performing. Look, on Europe, I don't think Bayern are satisfying. I don't think we are getting the best of what we should be getting for Bayern Munich. And look, it is that attractiveness on the European stage that allows them have any player they want, right? They're in talks with Kyle Walker, so that means they're still a very, very big club. But for me, they're not as attractive as they were in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, and during that period, right, in the last decade. I kind of feel like they've dropped off a little bit, and that's due to lack of competition in Germany. They've won 11 Bundesligas. It's just boring. I mean, if a player signs for Bayern, they win the German Bundesliga, maybe they win the DFB Pokal at some point in time, and then you don't win a UEFA Champions League. Bayern are weakening, in my opinion. So Kai Havertz doesn't want to go back to Germany, doesn't look at Bayern Munich as a fancy move. He would prefer at least to stay in the Premier League. Now, PSG, of course, have already sounded out the option and possibility of signing Martin Ødegaard, but Ødegaard has said he would love to stay at Arsenal for a very, very long time. He's happy in London and he's happy at Arsenal as well. Now, his contract still has a couple of years to go, I think around 2 or 3. Arsenal looking to extend that deal this summer. Ødegaard says he's not talked to the club about the possibility of extending his deal because that is not part of his work. His work is to get onto the pitch and deliver, and then his agents can actually do the talking with the club. I think PSG are building such a very bizarre project in France. Look, when Nasser El Khelaïfi came in, we all thought, the money is what's going to win them the UEFA Champions League and make them huge giants in Europe. That has actually not worked out. They've brought in a very good sporting director. They've brought in now a very, very good manager in Luis Enrique. I think if you're going to build a project and you're PSG, that is a very good combination. Lucas Campos and Luis Enrique. But I think their signings this summer and the summer before that are going to take a long time without bearing fruit. That is a challengeable PSG squad. Look, they've been winning each and everything in the French League 1. I think without Mbappe, without Messi, and without Neymar, they are challengeable. I think Marseille can, pop up and win the French League 1. I think anyone can pop up and win the French League 1. I don't see PSG as an attractive project anywhere close to Arsenal's right now. They have the money. They can give Ødegaard 300 or 400,000 a week. That is still an option. But in terms of playing for the Premier League, playing for the cameras, being in Europe and trying to succeed on a European on a European level, all the players that went to PSG to achieve that are leaving with nothing. Neymar does not have a UCL. He does have a UCL final, though, that they lost to Bayern. Mbappe doesn't have a UCL. Messi has not won the UCL with them. And Sergio Ramos as well has not won the UCL with them. So I don't see Ødegaard go to PSG. Do I see him leaving at some point in time? I do. I think Ødegaard will spend something like 3 more years at Arsenal or 4. And he will walk away maybe to an FC Barcelona. I can look at Barcelona as a potential destination. They really like such players. He can go there. I think Madrid, he can go back as well. They don't have a buyback clause. But if they came knocking and they've become the European giants that we know they can, I can see him going there, right? But PSG, I don't see. Maybe in 5 years' time, right? He's 24 now. By the time he's 27, 28, that is when I think he will be walking away from Arsenal. But at the moment, I think he's one of those players that are going to be huge pillars in this Arsenal team. Now, Arsenal are in talks to sign Romeo Lavia. Talks have already started and are progressing very, very well. The agent of Romeo Lavia is the same agent as Bukayo Saka's, and Arsenal do have a very good relationship with Bukayo Saka's agent. Look, I think he pushed us a little bit into paying a lot to Saka, giving him that 190,000 contract, extending up to 300,000 per week. But his player really deserves it. You can't say that he doesn't deserve it. Romeo Lavia, again, 45 to 50 million. I'll take the deal, but we fall in quality. There will be a reduction in quality in midfield when you lose Partey and Xhaka and replace them with Romeo Lavia and Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice is an upgrade to any of the two, and Romeo Lavia is a downgrade to any of the two. And that's why I'm not 100% happy and comfortable with Romeo Lavia. But talks are ongoing. That is the good thing. You prefer Arsenal to be in talks and sign someone rather than pointing and, sidelining a player or putting a player on their shortlist. So this is an easy deal. I don't think there's going to be a lot of competition like it has been reported. It's one of those dudes that I look at and I'm like, at the end, Arsenal could get him, Chelsea could get him, Man United could get him, but not because we are in a bidding war or because there's a lot of competition. Whoever moves quicker and whoever will, provide a lucrative deal will definitely take the player. I think Chelsea should be in pole position, by the way, to sign Romeo Lavia. They have a real opportunity to convince him to come and replace N'Golo Conte. Arsenal, on the other hand, if Partey leaves, if it's a guarantee that Partey leaves, of course we also have the same opportunity. But Man United with Carlos Casemiro, I don't see that. I don't see how you convince Romeo Lavia to come and be a starter every single week. Although they need him, definitely, there's no question about that. They need a player like Romeo Lavia. So let's wait and see how this one is gonna end. If it's 60 million, I don't think Arsenal should do that deal. If it's 60, 65, it's not a deal we should do. There's so many other good ones, and there's so many other options that I think Arsenal should be looking at. But Lavia, with that Premier League experience, only 19, coming into a young side like Arsenal, we could trust him at the best of the midfield, but he has to know that as he comes in, he becomes Arsenal's most important player. He will be sitting in that role where no one can sit. Lokonga has come and failed. Jorginho has not given us that assurance that he will do it for a full season. Elneny has never given us the confidence that he can play in a single pivot. And Thomas Partey has never played 38 games in a single pivot without picking up an injury or dropping in form. So, Romeo Lavia, can he be that guy? Let me know in the comment box below, and we'll talk much about how Arsenal will set up with our new midfield next season in the next one.